Coming up next on Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette.
It's time.
Do you have time?
Do you know what time it is?
The time is now.
The time is now.
The time is now.
Do you know what time it is? The time is now.
The time
Do you
is
know
now.
what time it is? The time is now. Do you know what time it is? The time is right now.
Do you have time?
Get caught in a net with Annette. For your mind, body, and soul. Get caught in a net with Annette. It's your intellectual radio show. Here to inspire you and encourage you to be your very best. Get caught in a net with Annette.
You are now tuned in to Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette, where your hosts, Annette Harris, analyze intriguing life questions and concerns, such as, do Christians suffer from mental illness? Have you wondered why they act abnormal? Or you may ask, what is really going on in their minds? Do you need Annette? Well, keep listening for a biblical understanding of the psychology of the mind.
Hey, great afternoon, guys. Welcome to another wonderful segment of Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. I'm your girl, your host, Annette Harris, and I am so excited to be here with you guys on today. I am the CEO of Get Caught in a Net Incorporated, your certified mental health ambassador and author of that two-time award-winning bestseller, Surviving a Silence Heartbeat, and also of Here We Grieve Again, the companion journal. So, today is Wednesday. I always say when you see my face around 12 noon Central Standard Time, it is time for you to come on in and get caught in a net. This is going to be an exciting segment on today. And I have been afforded the opportunity. I love networking. And let me tell you that I love to network. And I love it when individuals refer others on, whether they'll be coming on as guests or so they can highlight maybe their projects, products, or whatever it is that they have that's going on with them. And I love to do that. And so I want to give a shout out to Janine Weathersby Harris. She'll probably watch this at a later time for this connection of the guests that I have on today. So I'm grateful. But before I get ahead of myself, Lord, we thank you for all things. We thank you for what you've done and how you're doing it, how you're blessing and opening up doors that we didn't even see. God, I thank you for your wisdom and your instruction that you're giving us as we are living this life that you have given us. Please get the glory out of this segment and everything we go to say and do. In Jesus' name we pray. And the first part of Hosea 4:6 that I normally like to quote, that I think I've been commissioned to quote, is my people are destroyed for lack of knowledge. Because thou hast rejected knowledge, I will also reject thee. And again, we're glad to be here on this afternoon. I always have to give honor to God. He is the one that has established us in this particular radio show, this radio program. And so I must acknowledge him. Now, I'm going to bring on a beautiful woman of God that I have met. I already told you through whom, and I'm going to allow her to come in and talk to us. So this is our entrepreneurial spotlight on today. And she's a woman of faith, one who is a multipreneur. A multipreneur. And if you don't know what that term means, you will learn on today. So I'm going to bring in this beautiful young woman of God. Cachet Renee is here with us today. You said parentheses, she's got cash. Come on now. All right. I love it. I love it. How are you doing on this afternoon?
Awesome. I'm doing really well. And thank you so much for having me, Miss Annette. I am honestly so excited and grateful to be here today because anytime I get the opportunity to talk about entrepreneurship and creativity and purpose-driven branding, it means so much to me. So thank you so much for having me on.
You're welcome. And I want to thank you for consenting to come on today. This is, a great time for us to even be talking about, entrepreneur success, because there's so much, that we're faced with. Some people have to understand and know that being an entrepreneur is the way that God wants them to go and what want them to do. You have individual, of course, you maybe work at a I don't know, you have a job of 20, I don't want to say 24-hour day, but you may. But there are some who it is their inherent right to work for themselves, to be that entrepreneur. And so we want to talk about this on today. I was looking at your bio. And one thing that I pulled out of there, well, it was actually at the top, from Westside dreams to multipreneur success. And that stuck out at me. And I said, okay, in one title, if you will, she has told us about her life. And so I want to talk about this on today because we may have individuals who are trying to build and grow, their own platform. They may realize that being an entrepreneur, having my own, is my inherent right. And so with your background, because it said you had this entrepreneur spirit at the early age of just 10 years old, right? So then that tells me that you know what you're talking about. And so we want to talk to you, chat with you on today. So you guys, as you come in, I do want to encourage you to, we are on 3 different platforms on YouTube, and Instagram and Facebook at Get Caught in the Net. You should not miss us. So if one of your avenues go down, we know about technology, right? If one of your avenues go down, you can hop on over on the other one, and you should be able to see us whether you are watching us live or you come back and watch the replay. So be encouraged to throw in any kind of comments, questions that you may have. Even for our guests on today, you just want to engage. Please make sure you do that on today, and we will definitely recognize you. So let's get going here. I had so much written down on my own notes, but let's just start off in asking you to share your background with our viewers. This is her first time here on Mind, Body, and Soul with Annette. So if you wouldn't maybe just talk a little bit about your background, maybe even address that quote you have from Westside dreams to multipreneur success. So you can take it away.
Awesome. Well, I am Cachet Renee, aka Cash Renee. And I must say that entrepreneurship was just in my blood, as people like to say. My grandfather had multiple side businesses. And I remember seeing him as a little girl. He had his full-time career in construction, and then he had several side businesses. And those side businesses were amazing, okay? He used to service televisions for people whose TVs would break, as well as had a neighborhood candy store that people came from near and far to purchase his products, right? Because they were so one of a kind. I also have other cousins, uncles, aunts who have their own businesses. So entrepreneurship is just in my blood. And as far as being a multipreneur, I have started several businesses, okay? Several businesses. However, the one that I know is God-driven and just embedded is in me is CRG Design Studio.
Okay.
It was founded through prayer, and it allows me to truly showcase my God-given craft and make an impact in people's lives. I am a creative entrepreneur and a digital designer, and I specialize in meaningful story-driven design experiences for people. And what really sets my brand apart is that I don't just create graphics. I help people preserve moments, to celebrate milestones, and to elevate their personal and business brand through intentional design. One of our signature services with CRG Design Studio is our legacy booklet design. A lot of people like to think of it as an obituary, but obituaries truly tell a person's life story.
Yes, it does.
People don't realize, but several generations down the line, that's how you learn your lineage. If people took a moment and just gathered up all the obituaries of past family members that they have, that's how you learn your family story.
Yeah.
And it's so important. That's such a delicate task to take on for a family. And I'm just so grateful to all the families that entrust me with that. But I realized in 2012, when my grandmother passed away, I had the unfortunate privilege of creating her legacy booklet. Yeah. And that was one that I did, and I vowed to never do it again, Miss Annette. And guess what? I've done it several times since then. Yeah. But I truly realized that that is just such an important moment for families, and it should be handled with care. It should be designed with intent, something that AI can't do. Right. We're in the age of AI, and I think that people are realizing the value that real creative human connection brings to projects. You know, AI can generate all sorts of content, but it can never, ever, ever replace lived experiences. It can't replace emotional understanding, originality, or even personal touches that real designers can bring to their work.
Yeah. Oh, I love this. I love it. You know what? I know I mentioned Janine earlier with our connection, right? But I know it's not happenstance. Like I had Stephanie Strong on the other week. And I'm seeing so many similarities with myself and you, myself and Stephanie. So I see where she made these connections. I see as I'm listening to you and all about your background and everything. But let me ask you this. So you mentioned that you have created various businesses, and your focus though now is mainly on CRG Studio. So can you give us a little bit of insight about the other businesses that you created and were working on before CRG fell into your lap and became your baby?
Absolutely, I can. And right before I give that information, if I could just give credit to Miss Janine Weathersby Harris, because it is because of her that CRG exists. And I will get to that later on in our segment today. But shout out to Janine. Janine is an amazing woman of God. I don't even think I know she knows, but I don't think she really knows, like just the anointing, the oil that God has on her life to make divine connections here. And I can't wait to share that part of the story. But some of the things that I've done in the past, oh my gosh, where do I even begin? When I was younger, I loved, my family is really big on gifting each other. And I used to want to make some money so that I can go and buy people gifts. And one of the big things back then in the early 90s, especially late 80s, early 90s, was people purchasing Christmas cards, personalized Christmas cards. So I used to sell those back in the day, generate the money to be able to go and buy gifts for my family. I've had an event coordinating business, and in that event coordinating business, it does allow my creativity, of course, but I used to make game booklets for my clients. So for baby showers, birthday parties, and things of that nature, again, still bringing it back to graphic design work. And that was long before there were all these different tools and things like that that could assist you. This was back when Microsoft was the graphic design software. Okay.
Yeah.
Adobe and all of that stuff. I would literally take the time to put together a printed booklet that's also a keepsake for them for their big day. What else I've done? I'm a certified licensed financial professional. I've done it all, right? But everything has always led back to design work.
Okay.
I've tried to run from it long enough. It has always led back to design work.
Wow.
And that's out of prayer. I was at a conference, and I encourage everyone, if you go to conferences, business tip, make sure that you write down what you expect out of those conferences and watch what happens in the end. But I was at a faith-based conference with my good friend, Janine Weathersby Harris. And I went into that conference with a high expectation of God because I had just been awarded a business startup grant to, incorporate a business. Had my hands in many pots at that time, right? And I wanted it to be the right business move for me. See, I've done the things that make the money, but I wasn't happy doing the things that make the money. Everything led back to design. And when I went into the conference, I told God, Lord, leaving this conference, I want to know crystal clear which of these business opportunities I should incorporate. And that's how CRG Design Studio was even birthed.
Whoa.
So shout out to Janine.
Oh my goodness. That, you said a whole lot, because it is important to make sure that you write down what you expect. And you mentioned that in relation to going to a conference and, all of that, that is so important. And it's interesting how you said, you talked about your different, businesses that you started up when you were younger and coming along, but everything kept pointing back to design. It kept pointing back to design. How important is it you already kind of mentioned that a little bit, but if someone has, maybe a situation like you, maybe kind of your hands in multiple things, but there's one thing that you always come back to. Now, it may or may not be something that you want to do. That thing always comes back to. How important is it for you to just stop and make sure that you are hearing the voice of God so that, this can be a success like He wants it to be?
It's very important to keep Him first in any business, any idea that you have. Keep praying on it, keep meditating on it, fasting.
Yeah.
Us as believers, we oftentimes bypass the power of fasting.
Ooh. Fasting
will answer a lot of questions. When I say you can't help that rumbling, that's not your hunger. That's God answering a lot of these questions and prayers that you've been having for some time.
I like that.
So it is very important to keep Him first in any venture that you do. And one of the things that I would love to tell people is don't chase the money. The money is out there, right? Don't start something just because it's lucrative or it's a money grab. If your passion isn't there, the excitement for that business venture is only going to last for a second. You're going to get bored. You're going to get bored. You're going to become unhappy even with the money rolling in. Everything kept pointing me back to this. And again, I kept running from it.
See?
I kept running from it. And every time I'm pulled back in, whether it's someone needing design assistance, they had a super sudden loss, and when it comes down to, especially with the legacy booklet design work, very expensive. That can be very expensive. So it's something that I had been doing and just offering for people for free, to assist them in their time of need. And just seeing how impactful that was, how can I not want to do a talent that God gave me? I don't want him to take it away. So
Right.
if I'm utilizing it the way that he called me to utilize it, shame on me.
Oh,
Shame on me.
that's true. Now, let me ask you, since you said it, why were you running away from it?
Because in my mind, do he really want me to do that? Like, And total transparency, being society would just always have you comparing yourself to other people, comparing your work, even comparing your dress to other people. And I question if I was good enough for that. So I was allowing the fear of not being good enough for that stop me. And he just kept pulling me back in, right? And if he gave me the talent, gave me the vision, he's going to help me to see it through. Because entrepreneurship is a scary process. Let me tell you, it's scary. It's very scary. But if he gave you the vision and he gave you the talent, he ain't gonna leave you.
Right.
He's going to help you to see it through.
Yeah. So you did typically, like anybody else would do, is kind of doubt themselves. Yeah, like he's mentioned, not fear of not being good enough. That's almost like human nature.
Yes.
So we have to get beyond that to hear God and go for it. And because you just said something very key. If he is commissioning you to do something, if he has this for you to do, he's not going to leave you. You know, now if that's self telling you to do, you might kind of fall on your face a little bit. Right. But if God is saying, this is what I am instructing you to do, then yes, he is going to equip you with what you need, the tools that you need, naturally, spiritually, in every way, to be able to get the job done in so many words. So thank you for answering that question, because that is something that people will deal with, you know, when you're talking about in terms of creating your own business or becoming an entrepreneur, like running another direction. Who was that? Jonah. That is another example, running away from stuff, you know, but God was going to equip him. He just had to get out of self, you know, and be willing to do whatever God has. So would you encourage someone, or how would you encourage someone who feels that this is the route that I'm to go in? Hey, I'm glad this segment talking about entrepreneurship is on today, because I know that this is the route that I'm supposed to go in, but I think I'm a little bit too old for it. How would you encourage them?
Listen, there are some very successful entrepreneurs that started at older ages. I'm not a spring chicken. I am in my 40s. And I feel like I'm just finally getting my footing on this thing. So had I listened to God's voice a while ago, I would have gotten my footing.
Okay.
You know, so again, if he gave you the vision, he's going to help you to see it through. I believe it was Colonel Sanders. He was an older gentleman when he came up with the recipe and KFC was birthed. So it doesn't matter the age. It doesn't matter. And sometimes it hasn't happened yet because he's still preparing you for some things. So it doesn't matter what age. I have my youngest niece she has it in her. Like, this baby is a salesperson, okay? And she's very talented. She's very creative. And I am trying to encourage her early on to continue to pursue those things. Don't let that desire die. There's some people out here right now that are in their 50s, some even in their 60s, and they've had this desire for so long. But see, we've allowed society to tell us that you have to go to school, right? Earn the grades, get the degree, and go get the good job. And that's how you make a living. We've been programmed that the only way that we can make a true living is through a 9 to 5. And that's not true. That is not true. Because if that were the case, there would be very few businesses to exist in the world today.
Yeah.
If that's the case, but again, God made all of us special and unique for a reason. Doesn't matter when he gives you the vision, and when he gives it to you, even if he gave it to you 20 years ago and you're just feeling the urge to execute it now, execute it.
Yeah.
He has to prepare you over the course of those 20 years for what you're going to go through when you start that business.
Yeah, that's true. Because
So,
you can't just think it's all going to be a bed of roses. So you have to put the work in. You have to put the work in.
and it's never going to be perfect. That's what people don't understand. That's what I want to say. Don't wait for the perfect conditions to start pursuing your vision. A lot of people think that everything got to be perfect. Website, timing, resources. But growth happens while you're building. And again, if he gave you that vision, stay consistent with the vision that he gave you. Believe in your creativity. Keep showing up for yourself. And you never know who you're inspiring on your journey to. I couldn't stop because there are other people looking at me. And in the back of my mind, I'm like, Lord, I don't know why these people are looking at me. Right? But it's something about my journey that keeps them encouraged, whether it's in business or even another aspect of their life. And we really have to focus on that. You never know who you're encouraging.
Yeah, that is so true.
Yeah.
And how you live your life is very important because somebody's watching you. Somebody's watching for sure. Now, if you have an individual, and I know I'm totally off my outline, I already told you already. If you have an individual, they are at the point, Cachet, they're like, I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing. I'm not sure if should be an entrepreneur or if I should, just do the traditional way. I'll call it that, for the sake of our conversation. So how would you help them? How can you cultivate them into maybe becoming an entrepreneur, or what advice would you give them?
Well, one, I did not just continue on my entrepreneurial journey solo from the age of 10. I worked jobs.
Okay.
I was miserable at every job I ever had. Miserable. But what people have to understand is that working those jobs, it allows you to build the income that you need to pursue the dream that God gave you. And one of the things that I wish that I had been very consistent with was keeping him first in every move. Rather, while I was working in corporate America, every business move, keeping him first.
Yeah.
I just, over the course of the past 5 years, got back to praying to him daily for my business moves. That is very important. Very, very, very important. But what I would say is to truly, you have to have a relationship with him. I know people talk about God all the time, but do you truly have a relationship with God?
Yeah.
Right? And how do you know that you have a relationship? What does that look like? How much time are you spending in his presence? A 5-minute prayer and out the door, and in your mind, yes, I talked to God today. Nope, it's not just that. You got to talk to him all throughout the day. Yes. I have gotten in the habit of praying consistently because it's so much that's happening these days too. Like I want God to understand that I ain't playing at this particular junction of my life. I'm able to say before because it sounds good, it looks good, or that's what your mama wanted you to do, right? We all have those that I was raised in the church, but being raised in the church and having a relationship with God are two totally separate things. So as a woman of faith myself, I highly encourage them to talk to God about it and keep God first. Pay attention to what you're currently doing makes you feel. If you still feel super unfulfilled, and I know people, they out here making multiple 6 figures and they still feel unfulfilled, you're not walking in your purpose. Yeah. That means that you should quit that job right now, because God put you there for a reason too. But understand that you're not walking in your purpose, and figure out what your purpose is.
I love it. I love it. I'm so glad you're saying all this, and because you have, like you mentioned about things that are going on in the world or whatever, and then during this time, like this time of the year, May and June, have different ones graduating, from college or other levels of education, and they're trying to figure out what should I be doing? What am I to do next? You have individuals who may have graduated from high school. They don't know if they want to go to college or what have you. So I think it's going to be important, as individuals, those, of us who are in various positions, to be able to cultivate correctly. And I'm glad that you mentioned about even during the time of, having your own businesses, you did work other jobs so they can understand and know that sometimes people may need to save up or what have you. Or, because everybody may be looking for a grant, don't have a grant, maybe, didn't get one, but it is important to know that there are certain things that you're going to encounter on this entrepreneurship journey. So thank you for sharing that. So let's talk about any obstacles or challenges, if you will, that you faced as you were developing, either related to your other businesses or CRG itself. Any challenges or obstacles that you may have faced?
Absolutely. One of the biggest challenges has honestly been balancing everything that comes along with entrepreneurship. When you're building something, especially from the ground up, you wear so many hats. You're the creator, the marketer, the strategist, the customer service person, the content creator, the visionary, all at once. So there are definitely moments of stress, self-doubts, or just truly feeling overwhelmed, especially when you care so deeply and just have such a big passion about what you're doing. But what I've learned is that growth requires consistency, even when things aren't perfect. I've had to remind myself that successful brands aren't built overnight. They're built through persistence, through learning, and continuing to show up.
Yeah. Because I hear, before my husband and I even started our own businesses, that you put a lot into your own. You almost kind of do that overtime, if you will, as opposed to working in corporate society or what have you. You're going to put more effort into what you're developing and building because it's what you're developing and building, and you want it to succeed. So there's going to be that extra work. It's not just me getting up, going to my 9 to 5 and coming back home, because when you do that, you're working for the man, but you're working for yourself now.
Yes.
So you want it to succeed.
Right.
Give us an example of a day in the life of Cachet with CRG Studio.
Well, a day in the life will consist of me getting up to see if I have any new appointments for design work, because I do have a booking website that families can go to and book an appointment with me so that we can discuss the layout of their legacy booklet design, or if anyone just needs typical design work, it's just a quick Zoom that we discuss the vision for their project, and I let them know the services that I offer. Some days can consist of full design work from start to finish. Some days it's just editing. Some days it's just going to pick up print and get it dropped off to the clients. Some days it could just be consoling a family. Legacy booklet design is it can be very emotional.
Yeah.
And especially sudden death period. Grief does not have an expiration date.
Nope.
It doesn't matter when it happened. My grandmother passed away in 2012, and I still grieve her today.
Yes.
And just making sure that I remain sensitive to that, and just sensitive to people, period. I just think that, especially since a pandemic occurred, that
Mhm.
so many people are hurting so bad.
Yeah.
They look fine and they're not fine. So
Right.
just being kind helps, right? So I just try to be sensitive to the needs of my clients, as well as trying to be there for my family. Another hat that I wear is that I assist with caregiving for my grandfather.
Okay.
And it's a blessing to be able to do that. And if I was working a traditional job, that is something that I would not be able to do.
Yeah.
So that is truly a blessing, and being able to assist even more with my nieces and nephews. So that is truly a blessing. But as a creative, my day can sometimes vary. Sometimes it's just a straight admin day and I'm making sure that all the invoices are sent out. Some days it's strictly design work, and some days are days of rest.
Okay.
Because as a creative, you always got so many different ideas going on in your mind that we can oftentimes forget to take time to rest. And I literally mean rest.
Mm-hmm.
So I make sure to schedule some of that time in as well, just to clear my mind. Because even with a prototype, if your mind is just cluttered and life is living, people like to say life is life, and nope, life just living. Because it's not always bad things that's going on. It's just a lot of stuff going on, right?
Yeah.
And you just need time to just making sure that you take that time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
For sure. Oh, I love it. Okay, wonderful. Thank you for that response. Listen, guys, if you're just now joining us, we are talking today with Cachet Renee, and she is a multipreneur. And we're talking about her success and, kind of encouraging you guys that are maybe on the verge, or maybe you've started, maybe you're running into some challenges. And she's just encouraging you on today, from getting started to, working through it, to continuing on. And so if you have any questions or comments, throw them into the comment section. If you're going to watch this later, I can always tag Cachet, and she can come back and maybe type in some responses for you. But hopefully something will be said on today that will encourage you to be able to kind of spark that entrepreneurial spirit that you have probably always had. But, maybe put a little fire under that on today. My guest can, and she has definitely so far has given us great insight. Great insight. Cachet, I was thinking earlier as you were talking, my sisters and I have always known that in our family that we are entrepreneurs, from our parents, grandparents, parents, all the way down. And so that is good, I think, to kind of notice what you have in your family that could or can be a motivator, for an individual to start. Now, you may have some who have entrepreneurs in their family. No, I'm not going that route. I'm gonna go the other route, which it's fine, But I'm glad you pointed out and mentioned that we may have to make sure that our prayer life is in order. We need to seek God and see what He's saying for us to do. So that's definitely going to be key. So now CRG was founded when?
It was founded a few years ago.
Okay.
I was at a conference with, again, my good friend Janine, and I had just been awarded a business startup grant. And that's something too that I encourage people to just apply. None of the businesses were incorporated at that time. I have incorporated them in the past, but at this particular time, nothing was incorporated. So I had a startup grant, and I attended a faith-based conference. And I went to the conference again with high expectations. And my main expectation was for God to show me which of my businesses to officially incorporate it. Okay. Because again, being a person of many different talents, I have many certifications, but everything always led back to designing. And my expectations were exceeded that day because God showed me to incorporate the design business. And one of the main visions that I had was to merge luxury style visuals with meaningful storytelling. So that has allowed me to create beautiful legacy booklets. Also, what's really popular right now is graduation season. So creating graduation keepsakes, promotional banners, branding materials, social media graphics, you name it, any custom digital design work, we do it. And what makes our brand so unique is that every single project is approached with intentionality and human creativity. You know, we focus on emotional connection because every piece tells a story.
Yeah.
And we want our clients to feel and to know that their story, their event, or their brand matters. And that can sometimes be difficult in today's world where AI generated content is everywhere. People still want authenticity.
Yeah.
And they want design that feels personal and thoughtful and have that emotional connection. And that's what I focus heavily on with my clients.
Okay. Okay. You mentioned AI a couple times in your conversation on today.
Mhm.
What kind of, I don't want to know if I want to say challenges that you face with that? Has it been a hindrance to your business in any kind of way?
I wouldn't say that it's been a hindrance. AI has its place. I like to tell people that it has its place, and it's always been around, but now it's just taken on, I would say, a new face.
Yeah.
So it hasn't hindered. You know, some people do feel like, oh, I can go and I can do this myself. Here's the thing with these AI chatbots. They have to get to know you. So they tell your loved one's story. They can't tell the story of, you know, your child's college journey the way that you can.
Yeah.
They have to get to know you. And even still, they still don't know everything, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So it hasn't been a challenge. I know that that's one of the fears that a lot of digital creators and graphic designers have these days, but you can use it to assist you in some design work, but you should not let that replace you. It'll never replace.
Right.
That's what I tell people all the time. They can't do what I do.
That's true.
A chatbot cannot do what I'm capable of doing.
Right.
So,
yeah. They try, but no, they can't. Totally agree. Are you the master's designer at CRG?
I am.
Okay. All right. All right. I love it. I love it. I absolutely love it. So you talk about these legacy booklets, and what are the other, because I know you mentioned about with funerals and graduations or other events like that. What are some of the other, because I've never seen, when you talk about a legacy booklet, I've only really seen it for funerals. But you can do a legacy booklet for other occasions, is what you're saying?
You definitely can do it for other occasions. Definitely can do it for other occasions. And I have started suggesting to people to start putting your loved one's legacy booklet together now. You know, tell their story like no one else can tell it. And why wait until they're passed on? You can actually start telling their story now, right? And what I realized too, when it comes down to graduation, specifically college graduation, is that is a legacy as well. You know, because some people's great grandparents have been able to attend certain schools, and now they're able to attend the schools too. So that's what really made me want to start branching out and doing some grad stuff as well.
Oh, yeah. I mean, because you have first generation sometimes graduates, you know, and that's definitely legacy and history, that those who come after them, you know, they could benefit from knowing. I love it. I love it. All right. So I know you kind of mentioned this a little bit before when you said you were kind of running away from it, but have you ever doubted yourself in this work? And if so, what did you do to overcome?
Absolutely. I think that every entrepreneur has doubted themselves at some point in time, especially in this industry, but I've learned not to let temporary fear outweigh long-term vision.
Ah,
I remind myself that, again, growth happens through action, not waiting till perfect. I'm telling you, I was so stuck on perfection.
oh.
Perfection will keep you stuck.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't have to be perfect. Just move. Just move. And there were even times that I questioned whether people would truly understand my vision, but seeing how clients just emotionally connected to my work,
Yeah.
it reminds me that that's why I got started.
Okay.
Yeah. And I think that, with AI too, a lot of creatives are asking themselves, where do they fit in? But honestly, that makes me more confident in my work because, again, AI can assist, but it can't replace. It can't replace storytelling. It can't replace emotional intellect, even, and that realization has pushed me to continue growing my brand and even learning more stuff, to be able to assist my clients.
Love it. So do you get your clients more through referrals, or how do you acquire your clients?
I do get them more through referrals. I'm in a process of starting to do more heavy social marketing, but it's been word of mouth, thank God. But it has been word of mouth because word of mouth marketing is the absolute best.
Yes.
You
Yes,
know,
it is. Right.
because if you know the person, you know that they're not gonna just refer you to any old thing. Like if they're referring you, they really love this product or this service or this person, right?
Right.
So yes, I truly wholeheartedly believe in and love word of mouth marketing as well.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
Right. And you know what? We talked about how we connected. That was through word of mouth, So I know we talked about Janine a couple of times on here. When she listens to this, she could be like, why do they keep mentioning my name? We just love you. That's why. So yeah, I love that word of mouth. And I was thinking earlier, and I want to mention to you, I want to connect with you also because I could maybe have you as a referral. And then this was another reason why I mentioned earlier about our connection and how I believe God was using Janine, is because I am the chairperson over our bereavement committee at my church. And so I deal with families on a constant when they're trying to lay their loved ones to rest. And, if I have someone I can refer them to who will create legacy booklets, or so to speak, then I can definitely have your name within my I'm not going to call it a Rolodex. You're going to see how old I am, but you know what I mean. I would love to do that. And Janine spoke so highly of your work as well. So I definitely want to make sure, give, families options, if they're looking for someone who, can create that keepsake for their loved one. And I think it would definitely be beneficial. Let me see here. Apostle Sabrina, thanks for coming in. She is in agreement with many things that you have said already on today. We appreciate you coming in. She did say she's gotten a few customers through word of mouth for her business. Okay, wonderful. Yeah, I love it. And I think that is so important because that, like you mentioned, I mean, it speaks to your work. It speaks to, because then nobody's going to refer you if you didn't jacked up their stuff, they'll talk about you, but they ain't going to refer you. So we're grateful that you have been able to be blessed here in that respect to get more clientele that way. And how large has it like grown in like over the past few years for you, or since you started? Okay, beautiful. But not so to the point that you can't handle it, right?
No, not yet. I'm not turning away clients just yet. Okay. I can't. Well, I'm not going to say turn away, but possibly postpone some things. But I got a backup plan in place for that already because I know some other amazing designers. And if I can't get to it, if you love my work, you're going to love their work.
Okay, beautiful.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. And that's good too, to be able to refer, other people that whose work is good. I'm not, I'm hogging it in for myself. No, you can't go nowhere.
No, let's share
Right.
the wealth. It's enough business out there for everybody. So if I can't get to it, and sometimes it can just be a scheduling conflict, for instance. If I can't get to it, I can refer you to someone who can take good care of you.
Beautiful. All
Yeah.
right. That's good to know. Good to know. So maybe give us some, I know we only have a few minutes left. Tell us about some of your clientele that have really, I don't know, maybe they've left you some great reviews and someone that have benefited from your work.
Well, I like to think that everybody benefits from my work. I work with the organization called Taproots Inc.
Okay.
I sit on their board of directors, so I help them with a lot of their social media marketing and things of that nature when they're doing their community outreach event. They have an annual event that they do in August. So I always help with the flyer and the marketing of that. I have several clients that they only want me for presentation design. I have a couple of presentation design clients right now because they just want their presentations to pop. They want them to resonate with people. I enjoy doing that. I enjoy getting the feedback that, oh my God, like people really, they paid attention this time. That was one of the main compliments that I got from one of those clients. Is she called and she said, well, they actually paid attention this time. And I told you, maybe you should restructure your slides a bit and, make them pop. Folks' attention spans aren't that great. And if they got to sit through a presentation, they want that presentation to make them want to sit through it. So you restructure the design and the layout a bit, it really grasps people's attention.
Yeah.
Of course, with the legacy booklets, people always just, those compliments really just melt my heart. And, recently with the grad work, one of the graduates, she was so excited because she hadn't even seen it yet. And she was just so super excited to see her newspaper editorial. And it was just all about her and her accomplishments. And those are the things that it's all about. And of course, my youngest niece, she has a birthday party pretty regular. And I'm always doing her party invite designs and all of that stuff. And I tell people, like, her party is an event. Okay, like I sit down, she's now 11. I sit down with baby girl and we actually go over what she wants her invitations to look like.
See, you done started something. You can't stop.
Okay, she's going to give you detail about what she wants her birthday invitation to look like. Okay. So games with that. So yes, it's something that's super fun to do. I truly, truly, truly enjoy it. It's a that God gave me, and I'm so grateful for it.
I love it. I love it. Oh, goodness. Apostle Sabrina says she has a network of fellow business owners who refer business to one another quite a bit. Yeah, and I think that's, like we mentioned, that's very important.
Yeah.
To be able to have a network and keep it going,
Yes.
So thank you for that, Apostle. Let's see, as I the next thing I'm going to ask you is to give us some final words to encourage others, but let me do this while I believe I'm going to do this right. I want to show your image of, hang on, let me make sure. Yep, there it is. Okay, so this is the image of her CRG Design Studio, the services that she offers. Doesn't this look so nice, guys? And there's a number here for you too. So we mentioned you can reach out to her. I'm going to have her to make sure that before we end on today, she can tell each of you where to find her. But I just wanted to show you this, some of the examples of her work. Just some of her work. I know this is not everything. Is this the like a news article of the person's graduation right here?
That is a sample of the newspaper editorial. And that particular design there, you know, you want to make it affordable because design work is one thing. The house is another. So
Right.
I really try my best to make things very affordable for families who, you know, you're looking for something different, but you don't want to pay out on a leg for it. Everything has already gone up in price. Let me try to save you as much as I possibly can. So it's a more scaled down design than what most people typically see, but economically, it does it. It does it. Yeah.
But I love this concept though.
Yes.
Breaking news, she did it. I love it. I love it. And the Harris Herald. Okay, is she related to me? Not least that. But this is beautiful, beautiful work. Just you know, taking a glance at what you've shared with us. Just beautiful work. And so, guys, make sure you reach out to her. Again, I'm going to have her before we share with each of you where you can find her. But she's going to give us some encouraging words for those of you who are watching or will watch that you can have as a takeaway. Go ahead.
Yes. So, encouraging words. Definitely keep God first. Develop a true relationship with God. Keep him at the forefront of every decision, not just business decision, but every life decision. It can save you a lot of headache. I'm talking from experience here. It can save you a lot of headache, and stop waiting for the perfect timing. Some of us are behind schedule, not because of God, because he's been told us to move, but we're stuck because we're waiting for perfect conditions. It's not going to be perfect. It's never going to be perfect. Move now, because you don't know whose impact you're preventing from not moving.
Right.
Everybody's work, it impacts people's lives, right? So you don't know who you're hindering by not moving. So those would be my final words.
Ooh, I like that. I think you just stepped on some toes there. But that's okay. Sometimes God wants our toes to be stepped on. So we can do what we need to do. That was beautiful, though. Very encouraging. And I believe that someone will definitely benefit from your words on today. So now, where can they find you? Your social media handles, email, or what have you? Where can they find you on today?
Well, you can, in fact, find us online at crgdesign.studio. Our website is currently under construction as we continue to expand and elevate our overall brand experience. But in the meantime, people can still connect with me directly through my booking link and through my personal social media platforms. So my booking page is mysession.crgdesign.studio. Again, that's mysession.crgdesign.studio. And you can connect with me personally on social media. I am on Facebook as Cachet Renee. I am on Instagram as Cachet.Renee. And anyone who just, have a general design inquiry, they want to do some collaborations, or they need help with a branding project, they can contact us directly at 312-588-9145. Again, the number is 312-588-9145.
Okay. Look, I'm trying to be real good over here and type all this as you talking. 312-588-9145, correct?
Yeah.
All right. And so I have, I actually tagged her in my comments so that you can see her information on Facebook. And so she's Cachet Renee on Facebook, and she gave you her other handles. mysession.crgdesign.studio. That is your link. Right?
That is the link for my booking page. So if you want to schedule a Zoom with me so that we can talk about whatever design work that you need, that's the link that you would use.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Or you can do the old-fashioned way and call 312-588-9145. So guys, please make sure you reach out to her. She, she's taking your clients in. And as she said, if it's a scheduling conflict, she can definitely refer you out. But we want you to get to her at CRG Design Studio. Make sure you do that today if you are in need. I, see so much going on, up and down social media, individuals having to prepare for services or their loved ones, or like we already mentioned, graduation. So there are needs out there. And Cachet Renee is definitely the one you need to contact on today. So let me read this last comment from Apostle Sabrina. She says, AI can be a very helpful tool in business. She's used it for marketing and business plans, letters to potential clients, website design, etc. Okay, yeah, we mentioned about AI. And what's your statement about AI?
Oh, it's definitely useful. It's definitely useful. It's just not me. It can never
right. It can never
There's only so much that a chatbot can get to know about you. They can't write your entire life story. Trust me, they cannot. I don't care how much you talk to it. It can never write your entire life story. They're just not me. Trust me. It's not gonna produce what I'm capable of producing. And from what I've been seeing, especially lately, everything that's AI generated looks the same.
Mm-hmm. That is so true.
Now, some of those elements I won't even use in my design work anymore because I don't want nobody ever assume that I generated a service that they're paying me for through artificial intelligence. That's how some of it is these days.
All
so
right.
Serves its purpose. It's just not me.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah.
me.
Yeah, serves its purpose, but it's not you and can't replace you. Love it. I love it. Well, this has been great, tremendous. I thank you again for your time on today. Give me a second. I'm getting a lot of background. But thank you guys so much for joining us. Those that will come back and watch, throw your questions in, as I mentioned earlier, any comments you want to make. I can, she's tagged in this live stream, so she should be able to see anything that comes up as well. But I pray that you will benefit from what we have been given on today. Entrepreneur, are you an entrepreneur? Are you running away from it? Maybe you're a multipreneur, but we want you to be successful in everything that you go to say and do what God gives you to do. So again, thank you, Cachet. I appreciate you. Thank you so much for your time. All right. This has been great. Guys, we will see you next time. I believe we're going to try and do our health and wellness on next week. We will keep you posted with that information with Dr. Shirley Hill of No Faith Nutritional Services. So thank you again for your time on today, you guys. Be blessed and have a great week, and we will see you soon.
Get caught in a net with